So a perfect storm has come together. There are so many things that are broken on this bus, including me. And so we got to spend some quality time repairing all of the things that are broken because we have a lot of adventures yet to come.
Oh, and there is one other thing that's broken. The captain of this voyage needs to be repaired as well. In case that's a little vague, I'm the captain and I'm a little bit broken. It's a metaphor or a diaphragm or it's a... you understand. Hi, I'm Rick Higgins, and did you know that a 15-year-old bus with 250,000 miles on the odometer can actually break down? I know! Who knew? So yeah, I actually did break the bus, but I somehow managed to limp my way back here to Virginia, and my son-in-law, the bus mechanic, and together we're going to give the old Huckleberry over there some much-needed love so that Nikki and I can continue the adventures. But, as Under the Bus Rick just mentioned, hi, it's not just the hardware that's in need of repair. Because you see, if either of us are broken, then the only thing we're gonna have is a broken bus ride. And to be honest, I think the part about me is gonna be a lot more interesting to you than, repairing some broken airbags. Which, by the way, almost exploded in somebody's face. But first, let's talk about the broken bus. This is an airbag, and it smells all nice and new. What's an airbag, you ask? Well, it's an integral part of the suspension system. It's what keeps this 20,000-pound bus from slamming into the pavement and thus destroying my spine. These are my old airbags. Do you see all these cracks all along the bottom of this thing? Well, that's in large part why these things are flat and why I've got to replace them. Okay, this is the way it works. There's a built-in air compressor on this thing. There's built-in air tanks, and there's lots of hoses that run back to the, well, wait for it. Do you know what it's called? The air suspension system. Now, here's the bad part. It's not supposed to be that low. It's not supposed to be that low at all. All the air is gone from my bags, which is why we got to replace them, because it would be nice to actually have an air suspension system. So a few weeks ago, I was at something called the Skoolie Swarm, and a couple friends of mine who were very good bus mechanics, they offered to help me fix my airbags. Well, they crawled under there and they looked at those cracks and they panicked. Now, the airbags were kind of pumped up at the time, but they just looked at it and went, oh no, this is going to explode and it's going to kill me. And they promptly got out from under my bus. Which brings us to current times. My son-in-law have to lift this 20,000-pound bus up somehow on a gravel driveway so that we can actually put the new airbags in. I have no idea how to get 10 tons up in the air safely. I think I'm just going to let him do it. Hey, testing 1, 2, 3. Looks like we're actually recording now. I just had a whole soliloquy with you, and you weren't even there. Okay, now that the airbags are fully pumped up, you can see just how horrible this one is. Not so bad, really horrible. Now, why are we doing this at night? Because why wouldn't you do it in the dark? Make it a little more interesting. Just add the danger.
There might be no gap in just deflating the bags and letting it sit on the bump stops.
Leak it all the way.
All right, that's your old bag.
Yeah. You want a new one? Okay, status update. The bags are in. They are exactly what the manufacturer recommended, but oh my God, look at them. They are just, they look too tall. I don't know, maybe they'll break in, but as long as we keep them pumped up, they're going to do the job. Okay, that was fun. Well, let's get back to equally broken, but hopefully soon to be fixed me. So, as you saw in the last video, all of this driving lately, especially getting this bus back here to be repaired, well, it's given me a lot of time to think about myself, my relationship, what I want to be and what I want out of life. You did see the video, right? If not, here, I'll pop it up for you. You can watch it afterwards. But I am stupid, a little bit dumb, quite a bit naive. Let me explain. A couple of years ago, I decided to quit my job and I was going to travel the world. I was going to become a YouTube sensation, a star among stars. Did you know that about less than 1% of everyone who starts YouTube actually makes money off of it? I am not one of those less than 1%ers. Now, here's the thing. I still want to be a YouTube star. I'm still making videos, but I had this bright idea that I wasn't going to follow the rules. After all, my channel, it's about breaking the rules and living your own life, right? So I wasn't going to follow what YouTubers are supposed to do to make it. 2 years later, I'm still not making it. Maybe, just maybe, I should have followed the rules. My biggest fear in this bus is to be broken down in the middle of nowhere with no resources and no communication to get help. My second biggest fear is to break down, well, anywhere else, because I am not a mechanic. Now, I mentioned earlier an air leak somewhere in this damn bus. Obviously, we haven't replaced the airbags yet. I'm filming this a little before we tackle that project, but I don't know if that is the leak or not. We are probably going to have to run and test every single line to find out where it is leaking. And it's a major leak. And the biggest concern I have is the air system isn't just for suspension. It's also for my brakes. And that seems like something that's kind of important.
Okay, we are out on a nice, shiny, cold autumn day, primarily to see if the airbags are actually working. And so far they feel pretty good. They feel stiffer. I don't know how to word it. It's not as flexible and bouncy as it used to be, and that's not necessarily a good thing. But the primary reason we are out here is to see if the air leak has gone away.
You see this? This is the old airbag that we pulled out from under the bus last night. It has got a seriously corroded air inlet, so we had to bang it with a hammer just to get this thing off. I don't know if that's part of my problem as far as the air leak goes. And the only way to find out is to get in the bus, drive it around, and see if it's still leaking.
All right, so far so good. I just put a whole bunch of miles on this thing on flat highway. The air tanks kind of held, but here's the thing. There are 2 air tanks and 2 gauges. And what was happening before was one of them, tank 1, was losing a whole lot of air and refilling, and every 3 minutes it would go through that cycle. That's what I got to try to force. And I think I got to force it by hitting a lot of brakes and making sure they're sure that the air actually gets out of the system.
Okay, as far as the air, it's working correctly, and at the same time, it's not. Now, what is working right is that tank number 1 used to every 3 minutes go woo and just empty itself and refill. That has stopped. The problem is both tanks are going from 120 up to 90 a lot quicker than they used to. It used to be, I don't know, every 15, 20 minutes by using some air, it would slowly go back. And now it's taking about 5 or 10 minutes. I gotta go talk to Sean, the son-in-law mechanic, because maybe this is right, maybe it's wrong, maybe... Okay, here is the thing. It's kind of weird being on a YouTube channel talking about making a YouTube channel, especially when that's not what I said I was going to be talking about. But following the rules part, that does have a lot to do with what's broken about me. Now, I'm not going to bore you quite yet about what all of it actually means, because the bus is still broken and we still got to get that stuff fixed. But I have a plan. More importantly, you and I, we have a plan. Do you see this rod? This $30 little replacement rod? Well, this thing broke out on the highway and scared the living shit out of me. And no, a 6'1", 230-pound man does not fit well under this bus. That, if you can see it, is the original rod. Do you see all of this tape and this metal drinking straw? Well, that and a few other things like a half a pound of glue is something that I put on the side of a busy highway just to get me another couple miles down the road. Okay, so here in, oh my God, this is difficult. Here's the story. I was driving down the road in Missouri, I believe, and we were bumping and grinding. Well, it was more potholes than actual roadway. And then all of a sudden, the bus just started shaking and vibrating and making this ungodly noise. And I didn't film it because I was busy panicking. I thought I had a flat tire, which was going to be bad enough. Well, I pulled over to the side of the road, and I went and looked, and all my tires were fine. And that's when I kind of noticed that, well, the bus was sitting flat on its suspension. The airbags had completely deflated. I'm going, oh my God, I don't know how to replace this. I'm stuck. I got to call a heavy-duty food truck. Food truck? I had to call some kind of truck. Tow truck probably would have been a little better. Yeah, I was in that kind of state of mind. But I got lucky. Somewhere I noticed that rod was just hanging there, detached from everything. And it sort of made sense for me to slide it back into his little rubber gasket. I did. The airbags pumped back up, and I drove down the road patting myself on the back going, what a good mechanic am I. But what I didn't realize was there was a reason it popped out, was it wasn't fitting in that rubber grommet too well. A couple miles down the road, Pop Hiss did the exact same thing. That's when I came up with the idea of tape, glue, metal straws, and anything else I could think of to bandage that thing together. Now the rod, the infamous rod.
It's a little bit longer.
Is it, and it's not adjustable at all?
Yep, rod cutting instructions.
Oh.
Check for vehicle rod height, coordinate procedures. Explain your original equipment manufacturer service manual. Necessary, adjust rod height to manufacturer spec. Oh, fuck all that. Take that rod out, put it next to this rod, cut it, and then you're done with it.
You're gonna sawzall it?
Drink Corona?
Yeah, I can do a Corona. And no, the job's not done yet, but got to make a better video, so we got to get half tanked.
That's off, it's no longer pumping oil to it.
Oh.
Short.
So yeah, hopefully really soon we're going to have a working suspension. Don't ever try to drink a beer sideways. Yep, I pulled a complete MacGyver on the old air suspension rod fix. Well, now that I got it fixed for real, well, we have to do another MacGyver. We're going to MacGyver ourselves, you and I. Doesn't that sound like fun? And so, without further ado, I give you Rick's 4 rules for breaking the rules and how to have a better damn life. Rule number 1, and it is something that I egregiously suck at. Patience. Patience will bring you everything. Now, by patience, I also mean anger, intolerance, things like that. I am the king of driving down the road and being all pissed off at people because they did something that they really shouldn't have done. Well, why? I kind of learned throughout all of my driving to just have patience with people and the world. And I'll give you an example. When that moron idiot when that fine human being cut me off in traffic, I think to myself now, am I still going to be pissed off about this in an hour? If not, why am I pissed off about it now? Life is too short. Have a little patience for people and their mistakes, and have a little patience for yourself and your own mistakes. Rule number 2, and it actually builds on rule number 1. Clever, huh? Find other people to emulate. Now, I'm going to sort of overuse a YouTube analogy here. I wanted to be a star. So what I should have done was looked at people who have already made it kind of in my niche and to study what they've done. For you, if you want to make a big change in life, or you want to go out and have a career or learn how to play guitar, whatever it is that you want to change in your life, the only real way to do it is to study someone who's already done it. Yeah, they make it look easy once they've already crossed that finish line, but if you can figure out everything that they've gone through, and I'll give you a little spoiler alert, hey, it was probably a whole lot of hard work that you didn't see, you can learn a lot from other people. Hi, I had to replace a whole bunch of airbags in the bus. One of them holds up, well, 10 tons, and the other one holds up my fat butt in the driver's seat. Can you tell which one is which? Rule number 3, and it has a lot to do with a saying that I absolutely hate, loathe, and abhor. Something my father used to quote to me quite frequently. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And in this case, I mean rules. I don't want to follow the rules, but I have to follow the rules. The analogy that I like to use is Hollywood. You know the old trope of, I'm going to go out to the West Coast, I'm going to work for just a couple of weeks at this restaurant job, but I'm going to make it big. I'm going to be the next Morgan Freeman or the next insert your own giant star. Well, sometimes they make it, sometimes they get discovered. Most times they work a very, very long time just to get little teeny bitty parts. And then even then, they probably will never go much farther than that. But not you and I. Because you and I, we're actually going to make it. Because we understand this simple concept. You can't give up. You just got to keep plugging on, plugging on. If it doesn't work, change 2 steps to the left and start plugging there. And eventually, you're going to make it. And finally, before we get back to repairing said bus, rule number 4. Rule number 4 is simple. I forgot what rule number 4 was. Give me a second, I gotta look it up. Oh, yeah. Accept the fact that it's never perfect. This is actually a big one. This is probably my biggest nemesis. I know, let's use another YouTube analogy to illustrate the point. Let's say you made a video and you got 100 comments on it. 99 of them were glowing, wonderful. Oh, we love your work, Rick. And then there's the one that tells you that, your hair is bad, you're ugly, and you don't know what you're talking about. You can't listen to the one. You really can't. Nothing is perfect. And that's the biggest thing that I was actually talking to Nikki about before in the relationship. It is so easy to focus on that one little naggy thing and to ignore the 99 other things that the person does wonderful in your life, that you do wonderful in your life. If you don't take the time to bask in the glory of the wonder and all of the great things that you've managed to accomplish, and the only thing that nags on the back of your brain is that one little thing that you or they or somebody else did wrong, then then you are never going to be happy. And if you can get through this rule, if you can actually make this one happen, everything else is a breeze. So is that it? Okay, regarding the air issue, Sean gave me a little test that we could do. Just have to start up the bus and we'll find out if the air leak is within acceptable norms. Alrighty, according to Sean, what I need to do is let off the parking brake, keep my foot on the brake just till the air stabilizes. And I'm supposed to wait 60 seconds with my brake like here, and I should not lose more than 2 pounds. Alright, here we go. It's going to be a long 60 seconds keeping my foot in one place. You want to hang around, or should I just speed this up? Alright, we are coming up on the 60-second mark. We can't lose more than 2 pounds, and pretty much what we lost. It's just 2 pounds. Guess the air system's okay. Think what was happening in the back? Well, I don't know what was happening in the back. I'm just happy that it's working now. Still haven't lost the pressure. Alright, let's call that one fixed. Okay, the bus is finally ready. I'm ready. You're probably ready, ish. So let's get this bus on down the road to Gainesville, Florida, and, that's next week's video. I probably shouldn't be talking about it yet. Thanks for watching.